good, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Dan Banks, aka DJ Fine, CEO of JTU. We are Jersey Magazine and Jersey Diamonds. I'm here, my man, the one, the only Nick Mills.
Go, baby.
Nick Mills in the building. You already know. Yeah. Forever Live in the building.
Absolutely.
Check out his new EP, man. 4 tracks. Energy Never Dies, man. At Los Angeles, it is dope. I mean, he blessed us with us listening to it while we was chopping it up. He gave me a big synopsis of it. I mean, we gotta talk a lot about this EP. So make sure you go check it out on all streaming platforms. Energy Never Dies, Los Angeles, part 1 of many other projects. Yeah. So my brother Nick Mills, man, sit back, relax, let's talk a lot of it. Usually I say a little bit, a lot of it.
We got a lot to talk about.
Right. So we're gonna just let them know. So we was talking a lot about the project, man. Energy Never Dies. You have a big story behind you and everything about how you kind of put everything together. So let's just talk about the uniqueness of the sound.
Okay.
Let's talk about the sound of Energy Never Dies. Now, obviously, the title Energy Never Dies, you know, goes based off of feeling, energy, good vibes. So tell me about kind of the vibe you went into it just starting that project. Like how did you have to center yourself and kind of just like, you know, balance yourself before you even got to do it? Because I can only imagine the type of pressure there. Not only that, but he went to LA to go actually produce this entire project. So tell me about that whole style.
Well, okay, to answer your first question, to center myself to make the project, man, I would say around May of 2020, I was coming out of like a little artist depression, you know what I mean? And I finally felt like, okay, I'm finally feeling good again. I'm finally like, you know, my confidence is back. So by the time like June, July came, I'm just rolling with creativity and music. The beginning of August, I just knew, I was like, okay, I'm going out to Cali because normally that's the height of my inspiration. I'll fly out to Cali, sit on the coast, let my mind go, and then I know I come back to Jersey and I have a lot. This time I already had that energy going. So when I booked the trip to Cali, I'm like, yo, we might as well just do my whole idea. I had this idea of performing and making a live album and sharing it with the world for years now. So I just went and did it, and that was the energy behind it was just that alone, the inspiration, the fighting through the artist depression, whatever type of personal, whatever you go through when you're down. Yeah, I was at my peak. So the way it came through, like I said, man, it was just crazy because I was reaching out to mad people. I didn't have any connections to any type of band or anything like that. So I'm just like, yo, fuck it, let me just reach out. And I finally found Kerry Frank, he's a pianist and dope dude. Yeah, and he pretty much was the music coordinator for the whole project because he linked me with the other 4 instrumentalists that were on the project, and I sent them the music. They listened to the music independently in Los Angeles while I was in Jersey for about 2.5, let's say maybe even 3 weeks. Wow. You know what I mean? That was like, let's think, I would say like August, like 5th, 7th, something like that is when I locked them in. And I flew out August 28th. We shot August 29th, and we did something special.
And what was the feeling first of like actually meeting the band, and then like what are some of the things that ran through your head? Like I hope it's kind of like the hopes are like are high, but then you're just not sure exactly like what could possibly happen. Then you have like this time limit. So again, like I said, it's a lot of pressure, a lot of balance, and then you really hope that they listen to it those 2-3 weeks. You probably found out later and realized, oh, they really listened to the tracks. But what's kind of the feeling and the thoughts that go into like just first meeting a band that you've never played with? I mean, ever.
Everything that you already know. You know what I mean? Like I had my team around me that morning, which kept me grounded on the goal. Right. So I really didn't think too much about what was going to happen until I got to the studio. Right. So then once I pulled up and parked the whip at the studio and I was in the parking lot and I saw Kerry, I'm like, okay, it's getting real. Yeah, right. Then all those things started coming like, oh man, it's a lot of money and time invested in this. I hope we execute. Right. But as those thoughts came up, I'm like, listen, we got this far. Even if it all blows to shit, it's an experience. You know what I mean? So let's not even think about it. And then we started, rocking and doing the first record. And first couple of takes, they weren't all the way there. We just all knew, let's stop, let's review. Took like 30 minutes, 45 minutes to review. Took a break, and came back and shit just flowed. And that's thanks to Taj. Taj just was tapped in with the music enough to know like, nope, stop. We're not getting it right. And me personally, in that moment, I kind of took a deep dive spiritually and was like, oh man, shit, maybe it's not gonna work out, you know, maybe. Right. But Taj was like, no, let's just
take a break.
Let's take a break. Let's listen to the music again. Let's go. And when we came back, I gave them 30 minutes. I went outside. I smoked the L. Just relaxed a little bit. Came back in, and when I came back in, we rocked out
in the zone.
And then we were meeting, and then we were family. We were one. You know, you had to be there to truly understand, like I was explaining to you, the synergy. It was just. It's one of them things where there's really no words for it, bro.
I mean, and even if you look at, like, if you check out his IG, make sure you go check Nicky Mill's music.
Please do.
Make sure you go check out his music. But when you check out even, like, your feed and the post and everything, you can see that you gave us a little bit of live action.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you can kind of feel the energy based off of just the post and just seeing, like, the people live. Like you said, it's all about the experience, like, in person.
Yeah.
So we can only imagine, like, something like that, what it feels like. So would you ever find yourself doing that live, like, on tour?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, in front of, like, a big crowd, like, just getting a band, like what, or maybe a band from each city. That you want to do.
But like I said, that's well. Let me answer your question. You know, in order. Absolutely. I mean, that's the goal. Only reason, like, my whole mentality is I don't really wait for anything. So since COVID played a huge factor in this last year, bottom line is I knew I still needed to perform. I still needed to be direct to consumer with, you know, my fan base. And give them what it is that they would be getting, you know, remind them why they want to listen to me in the first place. So absolutely, man, this representation of and this performance is for the fans and you know, the prospective fans to see you know, what it is I'll be doing live for them. You know what I mean? Giving them that experience and letting other people share that moment with me. You know, for right now, I got to live it. You know what I mean? And everybody in that room got to live it. And reason why I recorded it is because, you know, now I want the world to live it with me. And just hearing from you and you explaining it, I know that mission has been accomplished because there's things that you knew without me having to explain to you just by watching the film.
Exactly.
And so that's just fire. You know what I mean?
And that explains the Forever Live. So it's like, you know, you do it live, now I'm giving you the experience live.
And it lives forever.
It lives forever.
It lives forever because
check out the shirt, man. You gotta give me the shirt. This shirt is fire.
and that's the whole thing. Like, you ever watch, like, Martin and Fannie Lou Hamer and these videos that they were before, you know, and Malcolm, they were before our time. But those moments that they only lived for a flip was thank the creator that they were able to be recorded and they were able to live forever and influence generations and generations on and on. That's how they chose to manifest and you know, eternalize their energy, right? And it's the same thing, you know, and it's just recording that. It's like, okay, like, it's not really about the clout or the fans, even though that always feels good to an artist, the validation. But when you really think about it, it's deeper than that. It's for, God forbid, if something happens to me when Noah is 18 and he needs, you know, to hear what his father would say, or even if I'm still around, but he just wants to know what I was thinking when I was his age.
That legacy,
he can tap into a 30-year-old Nick, a 32-year-old Nick, an 18-year-old Nick, a 20, and he can see those words and he can know, you know, how to live in that energy. You know what I mean? It's just much deeper than, it's really not that deep at all. It's just really what it is. It's like it's
real organic.
That's it, man. It's forever live. It lives forever. You get to choose it. You know what I mean? So that's why capturing it is important and sharing it is important. And not only just doing that, but actually really living it. Because we can capture all the bullshit we want, but if we're not living it, it'll be felt.
Exactly.
It'll be felt.
That's dope. I'm telling you, dropping them gems, so make sure you go check out Nick Mills. I'll tell you. So now, it's 4 tracks. So we got, I'm gonna pop quiz myself. Okay. We got Daydreams, Born Legend, Mountaintop, and Fix It.
You got it.
Bang, there you go.
Good at this job.
That research right there. So now, I know I asked you this earlier. So what made you just do it as a 4-track EP and not, you know, as a maybe a 10 or 12? Like, what made you actually just genuinely hit 4 tracks, be this impactful, and you were just like, till next time, you know?
Well, that's a multi-layered answer. Number one, that's just how it worked out. You know what I mean? We went in the studio, we recorded, you know, 4. We had the time allotted. We got 4 good records done, And at the end of that fourth one, I knew it was over. There was no overthinking about it. It was 23 minutes of, you know, of strong music that I was done making my point. You know what I mean? And when, you know, my rule is if I'm done making my point, I don't care if it's 8 bars. I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, you know, the way I was raised, even though I can be a little bit more talkative than I like to think I'm not, but I was told, like, you know, if you ain't really got shit to say, you know, you just shut the fuck up and you listen. You know what I mean? And you see what any other mind in the room has to say. You know what I mean? And those 4 tracks is what I had to say. You know what I mean? And we got 8 other cities. We got 7 more cities to go.
Yeah, you're doing an 8-city tour, man. Stay tuned. Los Angeles was just stop 1.
I was stop 1, yeah. So, you know, you figure you got a 20. I mean, you'll look at it as 4 songs. I look at it as 23 minutes of music.
Right.
You know, because I could have gave you, you know, 11 22-minute songs. You know what I mean? Same difference. You know what I mean? I just gave you 4 songs, 23 minutes. But either way, whatever we give is what we really have to give, and that should be. I would say from not even just me, any you know, consumer, you know, consuming an artist's music should just want what they truly have to give.
Exactly.
No consumer fluff, because that's when you know, all purpose and messages get completely lost. You know what I mean?
And you can hear the genuineness, even with that little small snippet you gave us on IG with like just the live action. You can feel like the energy, like I said, the energy never dies. So you can just tell, like you just constantly. You can just tell after each track, and especially that's why I wanted to go back to even when you said we took a 30-minute break. I came back, you did Daydreams, and then he added another verse. Like he added a whole nother, and so I could tell from that point it was like it's on, like it's on. You know what I'm saying? So like
you feeling it, and you're just in the moment, and you just it's just, man, it's spirit led, man. I mean, you know, not to sound too like, you know, like, but it's spirit led. You're just doing what you feel, and you know, sometimes you can't explain what you feel, but as long as you're brave enough to act on it when you feel it, that's really all that matters. Nobody has to believe you. Nobody has to think that it's the right thing to do. You know, you live and die with your decisions, and you know, luckily for me, man, you know, that's been you know, a blessing in my life. You know, especially with Daydreams, because you know, feeling that verse and feeling like I had more to say and more to give, and I knew that it needed more. It was just that golden number to the record. It was just that golden ratio, I would say. It was perfect. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And now what was the feeling after like completing, let's say even down to Fix It, the last track, right? Like going all the way down. Like, what was the feeling? Like, was it like an accomplishment? Was it a success? Like, because I know there's so much more to say because you got all these other cities you got to hit. But like after you completed like this full on 4 EP, and you're like, okay. Yeah. Like, what was the feeling like after that?
It was relief. It was success. I mean, it was overwhelming. I mean, I cried. You know what I mean? Because you got to understand, like, you know, when you're an artist. I've been doing this, I'm 32, I've been doing this since I was 18, 19, you know, working it out, failing, you know, making music that's just not good enough, you know, just getting to where you want to be at.
Finding your sound,
finding your sound, and it's a hard grind to keep standing up and falling on your face, and, you know, building teams and they breaking down or whatever, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's all a part of evolution, it's all a part of progress, but it's a rough journey. So when you get to a point where you're at the end of Fix It, I mean, if you listen to the project, you will hear like me talking at the end of Fix It. That's exactly how I felt. Was that like I was grateful, number one, that these people that I didn't know at all, this band that I didn't know at all, came out and brought my music to life, just off of the strength of good music and energy and just the culture of music artists worldwide. You know what I mean? Beyond race, relationship, creed, salary, beyond all of that. It was just, we see the vision, we're gonna rock with you. That was just, you couldn't, in that moment, you can't even really think about tomorrow or the next city. You know, you're completely captured into what's happening now, and you're just like, yo, we did it. You know what I mean? In short, it was a huge accomplishment to me. And I'll celebrate this project for the rest of my life.
Absolutely. Yeah. And now, and even going back to, like you said, like the whole getting out of the music depression and everything like that. Like what was that like, getting to this point from that point? You know, like going back, you know, a little bit into finding ways of trying to overcome this musical depression, and even maybe writer's block and stuff like you have so much you want to say, but in what way can it be like genuine, organic, and sound different than what you did before? Right. So how did you get out of that yourself? 'Cause I feel like there's some things we gotta talk about. I think a lot of artists go through that, and I'm glad. Thank you for acknowledging that you went through something like that, but was able to overcome and accomplish what you have. So what are some of the things that we could say to a lot of upcoming artists that may feel that way?
Well, I mean, for me, it was personally rooted. There were things in my life that I needed to do and to accomplish and to get organized and to get straightened out. Get my house in order. What I mean? Get my make sure that my kids was straight, my wife is straight. Make sure that I'm fulfilling those obligations. And I probably felt I wasn't fulfilling those obligations to the core because of all the other risks I wanted to take for me. To be an artist, to be entrepreneur and investor, whoever it is that I am outside of a father and a husband. I knew that because I took on these obligations, it was tearing me apart that I didn't get that in order first. So me getting my house in order, getting just the functionality of my home into a place where my kids are thriving, my wife is thriving, I'm thriving, that helped first. Right. So it's almost like you can't sweep the street before you clean your porch type of mentality. You gotta start here first and get this together, and then your neighbors will start doing it, and then you can all tackle the street together. What I mean? So, and that's pretty much what happened. I worked here, and once that was noticed, I guess, in the world, my neighbors, my kinfolk, they saw that. So the Tajas of the world, the Danas of the world, Carrie Frank, which is they just came to my aid, out of the blue. And that was due to me it's deeper than, and then to speak on writing, like I was saying before, man, if you don't have anything to say, you don't got anything to say. Right. There's nothing wrong with not having anything to say. That is a perfect opportunity to listen and to learn. And I get, as artists, the narcissistic side of us wants to always be the person speaking and to be on stage sending the message out, but the truth of the matter is, the best artists, the best performers are quite often the best listeners, and should be the most quiet in the room of a room full of people that are smarter than them. That's technically where greatness is created, right? Absolutely. So with me knowing that, I don't feel bad because I'm not in a rush to give anybody anything. I don't believe that my time is passing or my time is gone. I believe that my time is whenever I have something to say. Whether it's now, 10 years from now, I can't subscribe to the rush of creating and staying in somebody's face. It's probably why I'm not that good at marketing. Shout out to Sharon, my sister. She's like the head of anything that you see me on outside of what I personally do. She does, because I exist in if it's gonna be, it's gonna be. And,
it's good to have a team, and even like you said, very family oriented. And just having that support behind you to help you continue to push to your goals.
It's about that. It's about keeping the money close. I mean, my thing is this: is this is what we have to do for sustainability, for energy to never die. It's a cycle, right? So if you have somebody next to you that has a skill, you got to figure out a way to utilize them, and not only just to utilize them, but to cycle money and finances and resources and things into their pockets. It's like. It's an old hustler trick, you know what I mean? You keep the people around you fed forever. You know what I mean? Your kids fed forever. That's just, any hustler around the world will tell you that. That's just basic shit.
Most definitely. Man. And now, besides that little snippet that you gave us with the visual of doing it live, are we expecting any visuals for the actual EP, individually?
Absolutely, man. Shout out to Timmy, another cat, dope director. I always forget how to pronounce his name. He's a Nigerian dude, cool, down to earth, creative, out of this world dude. Him and his girl, they put together a short film that they worked on that they used my music for, and I actually featured in the film.
That's dope.
So we got that coming. I got some things planned with a couple of my filmography homies too that I'm not gonna get too into. Stay tuned. Yeah, but we're definitely gonna compound on getting the message across. I mean, these records, Daydreams and Fix It, Mountaintop, Born Legend. These records are things and principles and ideals that I stand on, and the goal is to definitely bleed bleed it so that people can see it in different forms and different audiences can truly tap into it. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's more to come. There's more to come, along with the other 7 cities that we gotta go. Yeah.
Man, like I said, you heard it here first. But he said a lot. We're not giving you no more because you gotta read. Y'all gotta read. Like I said, Nick Mills in the building. My brother, tell me they can book you, follow you, everything.
Yeah, man. Well, first off, follow me, Nick Mills Music. At Nick Mills Music on Instagram. You can follow the company Forever Live, IVRLV, at IVRLV on Instagram, at IVRLV anywhere, Twitter, everywhere, IVRLV. Or you can just, if you want to skip all the third parties, IVRLV.com. You can watch the full tour stop in Los Angeles. You can follow anything that I'm doing, pick up some merch, pick up the God Body hat. Do whatever you got to do. If you want to stay in tune with me and tap in, IVRLV.com. That's where it's at.
You heard it here first, man. We are Jersey Magazine. Nick Mills in the building. Yeah. Sign off.
Salute.
Oh, boy.
Entertainment.